Hello and welcome to another episode of Clark and Addison, Born into the Ivy. I am your host, David Butler. The Cubs finished this week going 3-3, or 4-3 if you include last Sunday's win over the Cardinals, because I had not covered that yet. To be honest, that's what I predicted, but I thought two of the wins would come from Minnesota. 1-2 against the Twins still feels like a letdown, and like we kind of let one get away. But we will take 3-3 all day on the road when one of the teams was 11 games over 500 going into the series with us. The combination of Matthew Boyd and Shota Imanaga came up big again when the team really needed it, just like they did a couple weeks ago against the Cardinals in St. Louis. In today's episode, we will recap the past 8 days, go over the injuries and recent transactions the Cubs have had, go over the landscape of the NL Central and the NL as a league, and where the Cubs currently sit in that landscape. Remember, the best way to help grow the podcast is to listen to every episode, like the episode, share the episode with your friends, and if you have not yet, make sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Don't forget to join our Facebook groups, our Instagram and Twitter groups. Make sure you follow us on there. At Clark and Addison, Born into the Ivy. Last Sunday's game was absolutely amazing, and not just because I was there. By the way, I've been to 4 games live so far this year, and the Cubs are 4-0 in all 4. That is fantastic. I'm sure it was awesome to watch on TV, but even cooler live. Matthew Boyd was named an All-Star shortly before the start of the game, and then went out and showed why. He went 5 innings, struck out a career-high 9 batters. He only allowed 3 hits and was just flat-out dominant. Jordan Wicks came in and threw 3 in the 3rd innings, allowing 3 hits, and did very well. Palencia got the last 2 outs to finish off the Cardinals. The Cubs had several players who hit very well in the game, led by Nico Hoerner, Seiya Suzuki, and Michael Busch. Seiya hit his 25th home run of the season, and Nico had a double and a triple as he finished with 3 hits for the day. The Cubs dominate and win 11-0 with only 1 home run. Monday, the Cubs were off. On Tuesday, the Cubs had traveled to Minnesota. They got off to a bad start as Shota allowed back-to-back doubles to Byron Buxton and Ryan Jeffers to start the game. Jeffers eventually scored on a sac fly from Royce Lewis to make it 2-0 after the first. The Cubs were able to draw 3 walks off of Woods Richardson, but only managed 2 hits in the first 5 innings. Then, they only got 2 more hits in the 6th through the 8th innings. At the bottom of the 8th, Porter Hodge gave up 6 earned runs off 5 hits and 1 walk. 3 of the hits were home runs, making the game 8-0. John Birdie came in and got the final 2 outs in the 8th. Justin Turner put the Cubs on the board with a solo shot, his 200th home run of his career, to finish the game at 8-1. Not the game we all expected, and I'm sure not the game the Cubs expected. Porter Hodge went on the IL the next day. Wednesday, the game didn't have as lopsided of a score, but the Cubs gave up 2 runs in the bottom of the first again, with Byron Buxton getting a hit by pitch and then stole second. He ended up leaving the game later, and X-rays came back negative. Ryan Jeffers knocked in Buxton with a single, and then Carlos Correa hit a double to score Jeffers, making it 2-0 after 1 again. Jeffers probably could have been thrown out, but it didn't seem that the infielders were communicating correctly, letting Swanson know that Jeffers was going home. In the second, Matt Wallner hit a solo home run. At the top of the 4th, the Cubs finally got something going with a Tucker single and a Seiya walk. Then, after PCA flied out, Busch walked and Swanson got an infield single, scoring Tucker. Hoerner then grounded into a force out to make it 3-2 Twins. At the bottom of the 4th, though, with Wallner on first and Royce Lewis on second, Wallner tried to steal second and got caught up in a rundown. The Cubs infield again didn't communicate, allowing Lewis to score. In the rubber match on Thursday, the Cubs finally got their first lead in the series as they took the lead in the second on a Nico Hoerner single, scoring Dansby Swanson. In the third, Pete Crow Armstrong hit his 24th home run, a 2-run shot to make it 3-0. In the 4th, the Cubs tacked on another run on a sac fly with Matt Shaw scoring Carson Kelly. In the 5th, the Cubs scored 2 more runs off an RBI single from Michael Busch and Dansby Swanson, making it 6-0. In the bottom of the 5th, Cody Clemens hit a solo shot to put the Twins on the board at 6-1. Pete Crow Armstrong decided to hit another home run in the 7th, and in the 9th, the Cubs scored one more on a ground out from Bush. PCA becomes just the third player ever to have 25 home runs and 25 stolen bases before the All-Star break, along with Bobby Bonds and Eric Davis. That's pretty awesome. Colin Ray pitched an incredibly good game as well. Friday's game was ridiculous. Chris Flexen gave up 3 runs in the 3rd, pitching 4 innings, allowing 3 hits but also walking 3. The Cubs pitchers continued to struggle as Cody Bellinger hit 3 home runs. It would have been 4 if not for Kyle Tucker robbing him of another. The Cubs did not score any runs in the game as Aaron Judge robbed Pete Crow Armstrong of a home run and made 2 other very good catches to help Carlos Rodon throw 8 innings of shutout baseball. Caleb Thielbar pitched the 5th and gave up 2 runs off a Bellinger home run. And then Jordan Wicks got roughed up quite a bit in the last 3 innings, giving up 6 runs. An 11-0 shellacking. Saturday, Nico Horner was batting leadoff for the 2nd game in a row against a lefty and started the game with a triple. Kyle Tucker drove him in on a ground out to first to get the Cubs on the board. In the 3rd, the Cubs got a single from Tucker to lead the inning off, followed by a Seiya Suzuki double. Then Carson Kelly singled to score Tucker and move Seiya to 3rd. After a PCA pop-out, Dansby Swanson grounded into a force out and not only was safe at first, but advanced to 2nd on a throwing error by Jazz Chisholm, scoring Suzuki in the process. Then Ian Happ drove in Swanson on a single to make it 4-0. In the 8th, Carson Kelly hit a solo home run, his 12th of the season. In the bottom of the 9th, Aaron Judge hit a 2-run shot off of Brad Keller, making it 5-2. But then Daniel Palencia came in and shut the door, getting his 11th save of the season. The story of the day, though, was Matthew Boyd getting his 10th win of the season, throwing 8 scoreless innings of shutout baseball and striking out 6. On Sunday, the Cubs had another lineup tweak, the 3rd game in a row where Ian Happ did not lead off, or on Friday he didn't play. Michael Bush leads off and hits a leadoff home run to start the game off of Will Warren. Then in the 2nd, Giancarlo Stanton drived an opposite field home run off of Shota Imanaga, tying the game at 1-1. It stayed that way until the 6th, when Carson Kelly drove a double to left and then moved on to 3rd on an Ian Happ groundout. Ian Hamilton then came in to replace Warren and faced Dansby Swanson. Swanson hit a 2-run home run, his 16th of the year, scoring Kelly and giving the Cubs a 3-1 lead. In the 7th, Seiya Suzuki drove a double to right field and scored on a single from PCA, making it 4-1. Shota Imanaga went 7 strong innings, giving up 2 hits, 1 earned run, the homer off of Stanton, struck out 6, and walked 1. Drew Pomeranz pitched the 8th, and Daniel Palencia finished the game off in the 9th, getting his 12th save of the year. The Cubs injury report via MLB.com, Miguel Amaya, with his left oblique strain, will likely begin a rehab assignment after the All-Star break, starting in Arizona. Counsel said Amaya will need about a week's worth of games before coming off the IL. On Marquee today, Taylor McGregor said that Amaya likely will be brought along slowly to ensure no setbacks. With the play of Kelly McGuire, the Cubs have the luxury of taking their time here and making sure he is 100% healthy. Jameson Taillon, with his right calf strain, he is doing some activity, including playing catch, but has not started running yet. The team is aiming to put together a plan after the All-Star break. Porter Hodge was slated to throw yesterday on the 12th and is feeling good per Craig Counsell. Javier Assad is scheduled to throw live BP on the 15th. Possible return in August at some point. Eli Morgan started a rehab assignment on the 10th in Arizona. No timetable for a return right now. Other transactions and notes. I get why Porter Hodge went on the IL after his last outing. He's obviously not right. I don't understand why they brought up Ethan Roberts. I know I keep beating the same drum here, but I just don't get why they don't give Luke Little a chance again. I think he has a much higher impact arm, can make a huge difference, strikes out batters, and the Cubs need, in the bullpen and on the starting staff, pitchers who can miss bats consistently, and that's Luke Little. After getting shelled in the game on Friday, Jordan Wicks was sent down, and the Cubs purchased the contract of Brooks Kriske. This is Kriske's second stint with the Cubs this year. Previously, he had one outing for 2 innings of scoreless ball. Tonight and tomorrow is the draft, and I am excited to see who the Cubs pick in all rounds, but especially the first 5. The Cubs will pick the draft is the first 3 rounds are tonight on Sunday night, and tomorrow will be draft or rounds 4 through 20. I was excited to see we finally had a lineup restructure over this past weekend series. Obviously, Ian Happ, I love the guy. He's been struggling quite a bit. Hopefully this helps take some of the pressure off of him on Friday and Saturday against lefties. Nico Horner led off. I personally love that. I know that there are some people out there in Cubland fandom who don't necessarily like Nico being the leadoff hitter. I'm not saying I want him to be the leadoff hitter all the time, but I think against lefties, he just is very good. He's got good numbers against them. He hits for more power off of lefties. I think it's a good fit. I liked what they did today against righties, still having Ian Happ down in the lineup and having Michael Busch lead off. I think that that's a very nice part of the lineup. Busch is patient when he needs to. He has good at-bats, consistent at-bats, and does a really nice job of getting on base, driving the ball, and helping set the table along with hitting some home runs. So I don't know how much he set the table today. I get that, but he has great numbers. I think it's a nice fit for him to bat leadoff, at least while Ian kind of gets right. Speaking of that, in the game on Saturday and Sunday, Ian Happ looks like he is getting right. He went 4 for 8 in the series after I'm only having like 2 hits and 40 at-bats or something. I mean, I don't know exactly. I can't remember exactly what the numbers were, but they weren't good. And I know I talked about them a little bit on the podcast on Friday, and I can go back and look at that. But the numbers, frankly, just weren't good. It was nice to see him kind of settle down and just hit the ball. Because Ian Happ, when he's going right, is a huge thing. And if he can get back into that spot, hitting leadoff and still doing that, that would be phenomenal. I really like that Craig Counsell made some adjustments, though, to make sure that he can just get his mind right. He had a get-right day on Friday where he didn't play, and I think that has done tremendous value to him. Speaking of that, I think that the same thing happened, but it happened for the whole series with Matt Shaw, where he did not play much. He played a little bit today, but I think it's important that he gets some time to kind of reset himself. He's now got the next 4 days, and I don't know. Hopefully the Cubs are working with him right now, and maybe he won't have quite as long of a break, quote-unquote, but it'll be really good for him to hopefully reset himself, because that's what he did when he went down to AAA. I see no reason why they can't just do that for him at the major league level. Hopefully that does wonders for him too. The NL Central, as we sit right now, the Chicago Cubs are 57-39, 18 games over 500, 1 game up on the Milwaukee Brewers, and both teams are running away from the rest of them. The Cardinals are still playing right now. They're playing against the Braves. They currently sit 7 games back of us. The Reds are 7.5 back of us, and the Pirates are 18.5 back of us. I think it's starting to settle in. The Reds, I think, are the bigger threat to make a run after the All-Star break than the St. Louis Cardinals. I think the Cardinals' roster woes or what they're missing on the roster is definitely starting to catch up with them. They don't have as strong of a roster as, my opinion, as what they've been playing. I see them playing around 500 the rest of the year and staying around 500. So I thought I picked them to finish last initially. So what do I know? I guess sometimes, but I think we all they played above what they should have played. The Reds have a better roster than I think what they have been doing, but they're not. Their roster, I don't think, is as good as the Cubs and the Brewers. The Brewers, man, no matter what their roster looks like, they just keep. They hit the ball. They play well. They pitch well all the time. That's where they pitch well. Speaking of that, why is Jacob Mizorowski on the All-Star team? That's crap. Nothing against the kid. He's pitched really well, but he's only pitched 5 games. That's ridiculous. I don't care how good he's pitched. Unless he pitched 5 no-hitters or 5 shutout games, that's ridiculous. And that's not what's happened. And it's just ridiculous. There's so many pitchers who are more deserving to be on the NL All-Star team than Jacob Mizorowski. And you're not going to change my mind. As for the NL as a whole, the Cubs, depending on what happens with the Dodgers, currently sit tied with the Los Angeles Dodgers for the best record in the National League at 57-39. The Dodgers are playing the Giants right now, so they will end up at 58-39 or 57-40. Let's see what they currently are doing right now, just because Dodgers are tied 2-2 at the end of 10. The Braves are beating the Cardinals, and the Phillies are up 2-1 in the bottom of the ninth against the Padres. Who knows how that'll play out? The Phillies are a little bit behind us, but the Cubs have the Milwaukee Brewers breathing down their neck, obviously. But the Brewers have a rough road ahead of them. They have not played a tough schedule right now. The Cubs have played a very tough schedule. So we'll see what happens here. But you can't count them out. They're a viable threat. I don't think that. Well, I don't even want to say this, but the Cubs are sitting very well in the NL for a playoff spot right now. Unless they completely falter, I just don't think that's going to happen. Our offense is amazing on the road and at home. It has spurts. Every offense has spurts where they just dip, and it's not. I mean, they're not going to score 8 runs a game, guys, all the time, every day. The pitching staff has to start keeping up their end of the bargain better, much more like they did early part of the season. We're going to get reinforcements, and we'll talk more about that later on this week. Let's go Cubs. Don't forget to join our Facebook group at Clark and Addison Born Into the Ivy, or follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Clark and Addison Born Into the Ivy. Leave some posts or comments in there about what you'd like to hear or what you thought about today's episode. However you subscribe to your podcast, please like and subscribe to Clark and Addison Born Into the Ivy so that you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. Also, if you feel so inclined, please make sure to leave a 5-star review and leave me some comments. If you are enjoying this podcast, make sure to tell and share it with any of your friends who might be a Cubs or baseball fan. Have a great day, and let's go Cubs. Paisley, send them home.
Go Cubs, go!
Living on the